You're on.
Good morning. He's turning the lights on very slowly. Well, it's time to make
I'm very decrepit, honey. I'm very decrepit, so I have to do things slowly. I was barely able to get out of bed.
Are your ankles swollen?
Yes, they are. They're swollen up to hell.
Uh-oh. Anyway, we're usual, we are winding down, getting older, more decrepit. And I'm not keeping house as well as I used to. And one of the serious problems is I can no longer keep house for him at all. I used to every once in a while come in and flurry of activity.
Yes, but if you
and clean him up.
That's about once a year.
He is one of these
once
men
every year
who tries their best never to learn how to clean apartment, take a rag. That's just beneath them. There's some men that it's beneath them to take a rag and wipe down all the surfaces.
Well, what are we wiping here?
It just it satisfies, the main purpose for doing this is for management's sake. So when they come in, they'll think, oh, he's passed his inspection. We have to pass inspection in here of a sort. And it's to satisfy the inspection unit. Because, they have to keep control of a place like this, otherwise it'd get completely out of hand. There'd be so much squalor that...
I thought it was already out of hand.
Well, it is always out of hand. It's just barely in control of management. They think it's in control, but of course it's...
anyway, like Martin's shirt.
I'm anticipating that he will soon be evicted. And he will be pushing a cart. I don't know how he's going to get along, but if he can't learn to take a rag... See, there's moss growing in his bathroom. Moss, because he hasn't taken a rag and wiped it down since I've known him.
There's what growing?
And since I've done it, naturally there's moss growing because he has not. Now you may not want to know
that's not true.
that your old people live in squalor, but
it's fungus. It's not a moss. Okay? It's
moss.
It's a very nice
It's come
fungus.
from not being disturbed. It's gone back to nature. His bathroom has gone back to nature. I wouldn't be surprised to come in there and see vines growing.
Wait a minute.
No.
You haven't noticed that? What do you think's holding the shower curtain up? I put the vines on the shower curtain to hold it up.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine management gets excited when they see stuff like that. Oh my God! Vines are growing in his bathroom! Moss! It's just, we can't allow that. So I'm expecting them to tell him, I'm sorry, you have dropped below our standards, and you're going to have to go.
Wait a second now. The lowest common denominator around here is way in the basement.
Oh, he thinks so.
I'm on the 6th floor.
He thinks so.
Way in the basement, baby.
He thinks so, but a man that never, and what do you expect of your typical old alcoholic? Do you expect your typical alcoholic to be a good housekeeper?
Jesus.
Get real. They're not going to be good housekeepers. They're destroying themselves. Don't you get it? And management, has to deal with these typical old alcoholics who are in here to die for no other reason. Kill themselves and get it over with.
All right.
Even though it might take years, there's the slow, there have been alcoholics in here. They could do it in a month. If they got right down to business, they'd be hovering on the edge of death.
Wait a second now. Back that truck up.
I've been waiting for him to get on the edge of death for 5 years.
I've been on the edge of death my whole life.
He has not got there yet.
I have been.
But during that time, moss has Moss has been growing in his apartment.
No, it's not moss. You don't even know it's fungus.
Right.
My God, there's a big difference.
So this has
what
put a lot of stress
when you were growing
on
up?
me.
Did you ever? Anybody teach
this
you?
This has put a lot of stress on
biology
me.
class or
the thought of him,
class?
Another old codger, getting evicted, pushing a garbage cart up and down the street. I mean,
listen.
This is the last old alcoholic. I saw him a week later. He's pushing a cart up and down the street. I said, hi, Jack. How are you? You look good. He was homeless, sleeping on the street. So here's the next guy.
Well, all I can say is you have a very morbid sense of humor.
Morbid. He thinks it's impossible. He doesn't know when he gets a message on his door that says, "We will be entering your apartment at such and such a day. Have this done, that done, that done." He thinks I got one. I don't get those kind of. I didn't get that kind because I'm still this side of, you know, her housekeeping has dropped. We're going to have to do something.
You do know why.
What?
Remember what you said over a period of years? I'm not allowed in your apartment anymore, so therefore you got a clean apartment. Now you come down here and you
guys would not call my apartment clean because my standards have really fallen, and they never were very high.
Fallen?
Because I was a writer.
Fallen.
And I
if your standards get any lower, you have to sleaze your way into the door.
Oh, listen to him. You want me to slap you?
Of course I do. On camera.
Maligning.
I can sue her.
A man like me maligning my housekeeping. And, you know, I figure that when I'm a week short of death, my housekeeping is going to just go completely out of sight. I mean,
well,
you know, they might have to.
Housekeeping?
And what do you think happens? When you get that decrepit, you're gone. I mean, they said, we're going to find some other place to put her. She can't walk. She can hardly get out of bed. We're going to have to, you know, and all the time, some old ladies are screaming, I'm okay, don't take me away from my only home. Don't take me away. See? But we're getting to about crunch time.
No, wait a minute.
Crunch time.
I'll tell you one thing.
Or we have to be brave. We have to die.
We're going to put this on YouTube, and we're looking for hoarders, folks. We're going to get on hoarders.
Hoarders.
You know, not the WHO, just the hoarders part, you know.
If you looked at this apartment, you'd see this is hoarder, you know, little hoarder here. And, and somebody's going to have to come
Obviously, you think I'm a pimp and hoarder.
A great big old, what do you call it? One of those big old garbage carts, and take it to the door, and all of this stuff, as soon as he expires or is evicted, all of this stuff will just go in that garbage.
Now wait a second.
Go in that garbage.
If I'm evicted, I'm taking it with me.
The only thing he doesn't have is bed bugs so far, and he asked me the other day.
I'm working at it.
If this would look like a bed bug bite to him. I looked at it and I said, that is the next thing. When he gets bed bugs, what shall I do?
I have no...
What shall I do?
Wait a minute now. First of all...
Can I take that on top of everything else that I've taken?
Every day of my life that I've known you, which is pretty sad, you've never spent 1 minute in my bed. So what are you worried about bed bugs in my bed? Seriously. I mean,
well, he's got everything else, so how come he hadn't had bed bugs? I don't know. You would think every bed bug within, you know, we have them all over the place, would say, hey, there's a good place down there at the docks. Come on, guys. And a bed bug brigade could march in this store.
Well, what
his
makes
old
you
buddy
think
got
they
him.
don't do it?
Well, I'm just surprised. That's the next big crisis. When he comes and tells me, I've got bed bugs, I'm gonna say, oh God, no, not another one, not another one.
Well, now that you brought this up, I I don't know how to tell you this, but I think I have a sexually transmitted disease, but I didn't want to tell you.
I know. You know, he is now the subject of meetings with management. They're saying, what are we going to do about Doc? He has obviously slipped.
Slipped?
Yes,
I've
slid. Slipped and slid.
I've been sliding for years, honey. What are you talking about?
And all he really has to do is take a rag and wipe down the counter. Wipe inside his fridge. But, you know, to him, taking a rag and wiping things down, that doesn't make sense to him.
No.
To some men, you know, that is
Look.
that is so beneath them.
Look,
It's always been beneath them.
Well,
Who do they think took the rag and went around wiping up after them for years?
If I use toilet
Poor
paper,
old mother did.
if I use toilet paper, that's good enough wiping for me. That's about as far as wiping I want to go. I mean, what are women for? They're not good for wiping.
I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I came down the other morning. This is how bad things have gotten. I came down, there were spots across the floor. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Finally, I said, is that? Yes. You guessed it. And he said, well, and I said, well, why didn't you clean it up? Did you think of that?
I was not
before I came down?
I was not wearing my Depends at the time. I did not know it was going to offend you.
Little
My
spots.
Depends were not. I did not have access to my Depends.
Oh, people! I think it's downhill. I think it's downhill from now on. I think it's crisis time. You know. I already thought I was in crisis time, but now he's the subject, I'm sure, of management meetings, top-level management meetings.
Yeah.
See, they put
in
the
Rhode
biggest
Island.
problem. Rhode Island has probably heard about him.
Yes.
Or Idaho. I think Idaho's in charge now. Idaho is having top-level discussions. Well, what can we do with these old what do they call them? These
basically,
old derelicts
one of the things
that come off the street that do not ever comprehend civilized cleaning procedures. See, if a man has spent 10 years on the street, you know, he loses all respect for cleaning. What's all the fuss about?
Was spent 10 years on the street.
What's all the fuss about?
It wasn't 10 years on the street.
Well, how long was it?
20. Well, that's
so
not,
anyway,
that's
I mean, there's an
your
old guy on
problem.
our floor. They tried to civilize him. He spent 16 years on the street. They tried to civilize him. They said, oh, you know, you can just see the bleeding hearts. We'll get this old guy in. We'll take, you know, this is, people look at the homeless. They say, we're going to get these poor homeless people in. We're going to give them a home. And then they find out that these old hulks and derelicts are not civilized. They do not know how to act under, you know, with four walls and where they're expected to take rags and clean. It doesn't make sense to them.
No, wait a minute.
They've got to do it to please management, if nothing else.
Here's the
Just
problem.
please management.
Here's
It'll
the
make
problem.
management happy. Don't you care about making management happy? You don't.
I've seen management and they
You
don't make me
yeah.
happy. I can make them happy if they want.
He doesn't make me happy. Hey, are you keeping track of the time? This rant has got to end sometime. But I just had to vent. I have to vent my worries, my fears. He's going to be pushing a cart.
You have 2 more minutes to rant your little rant.
The minute I saw that notice, I said, that's it. That's it. You don't realize it. You're on trial, buddy. You think Kafka. You think Kafka. He's on trial. He's turned into a cockroach. And so...
Wait a minute. Now wait.
And you know the problem is...
Pull this thing into practice for 1 sec. Back up your phone. How many people are going to get Kafka and cockroach that are watching this? They're not going to get that book. They're not going to get any of that.
He's convinced that he's the only person in the world that's read Kafka.
Well, I'm the only person in the world that turned into a cockroach.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. He is being done in by cockroaches. He did not live. Wasn't raised. You know, if you haven't been raised in Arizona where cockroaches flourish. And management just sent out a paper the other day. They said nobody has cockroaches unless they're bad housekeepers.
Yeah, right.
And that means
I believe that's the truth too. You know, I believe. Well,
let me tell you,
everything.
in Arizona, you only have to be not even the worst housekeeper in the world, like me, and you can have cockroaches.
What did you just say?
The only way that you could keep from having cockroaches is if
like
you were a fanatic who saw one bug, called 50 pesticide companies, said, get in here, I don't want a cockroach to ever lift its head again. And they didn't care, they could put so much pesticide in your apartment that it would kill an old person, shorten their lives 5 years at least, but they will get rid of the cockroaches. They won't have one.
I believe what she's trying to say is that
nobody understands.
they'll get all the old
like
people killed.
We do, who live in them.
Okay, now this is about as much.
They get out of hand.
This is much pleasure as I can stand.
And his have got out of hand.
I don't look at my hand, folks. You see any cockroaches in there? Oh.